Today, we got to interview a almost vet.
I think she's pretty much a vet. I mean, like, I don't know when it comes to doctors, like, you round the corner and, like...
She's definitely heading for home.
She's heading for home, and you can hear the excitement in her voice.
Yes. Her name is Indya, and she is a vet student, a Brown vet student.
Yes.
At Auburn University.
Yes.
She's almost done. And Adele had her 6th birthday, and it was vet themed.
Yeah.
And it kind of stemmed from that, and just Adele being able to see really
somebody
a
that
mentor.
looked like her, and somebody that she could see and appreciate. And it kind of continues our whole, Black History Moments with the Mizell thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We love it. Check her out.
Perfect.
Welcome to the Mizell Show.
An inspiration for a new generation.
Hi, I'm Alanna Mizell, a loving mother of 2, a devoted wife to Steven, and an entrepreneur helping women realize their dreams and potential.
And I'm Steven Mizell, caring father of 2, a devoted husband to Alanna, and a driving force to help young men prepare for life after college football.
And if that wasn't enough, we're a biracial couple.
She was raised in the North, but I was raised in the South.
The only thing normal about our lives, who am I kidding? It's never normal around here. Join us for the Mizell Show.
Right now.
So I am originally from Mobile, Alabama, along the coast.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up loving animals and didn't really consider, I knew I wanted to be a veterinarian. I think my mom said around 4 years old, but I actually didn't pursue it until college. So I went kind of through high school, didn't get a ton of animal experience or anything like that. Got to college, undeclared major. I went to the University of Alabama at Birmingham, and that's like a huge medical school. So I just, as like a college freshman, I just felt so confused about what I was doing with my life. And I basically sat in my dorm room one random day and wrote down a top 10 list of things I wanted to do, things I could even see myself doing.
Yeah, I love that.
And it was
as
just
a freshman,
right? It was just so random. I was like, I have to figure this out right now. And at the wee age of 18.
Right.
So I had dolphin trainer and stunt double and all these random things, but the top of the list was veterinarian. And I was like, okay, well, that's probably the one that my mom will actually support. So I just did some research, found out about different vet schools across the US, did more research and found 2, Auburn and Tuskegee in Alabama. And from there, I just kind of did my research and pursued it in a way that was completely untraditional. Like I said, UAB was a huge medical school. So I didn't really have a pre-vet advisor. I didn't have a animal science degree. I just kind of studied biology, studied psychology and chemistry, and then found my experience with what I could. So yeah, I think for me, why vet school is because it was something that I loved since I was a child. But there was nothing else, nursing, med school, anything that made me as happy as seeing an animal, being around animals and actually treating them. Because I thought about doing training and I thought about animal behavior, but something about that medical side was just so interesting to me.
I love that.
So where are you now? Are you finished with vet school? Are you a doctor? So walk us through what you are now.
Okay, so I'm so excited to say this. I am almost a doctor. This is the closest. So I'm a 4th year vet student at Auburn University College of Veterinary Medicine. I officially passed my boards. I think January. I want to say last month, but sometimes I don't even know what month we're in. So I officially passed my boards, and next steps is just for me to graduate and then finish my state licensing exam in Florida. And I'll hopefully start practicing by August. I'm going to take a little time off, but
that's amazing.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's amazing.
That's awesome. So why state level in Florida?
So my dad lives in Tampa, Florida, which is where I'm trying to relocate. And I love Florida.
Awesome.
My other interest is aquatic animal medicine. And I love being warm. I love being in the water. So Florida just seemed like an area where it was close enough to family, close enough to home, but further enough away to where I could kind of feel like a young adult off on my own in a way.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome.
Huge.
Yes, huge. Yeah.
So we'll do like a.
First of all, congratulations.
Yeah,
that's huge.
What?
That's
I
awesome.
appreciate it.
Passing the boards, having a vision. So like, we don't want to just discount that.
Not to mention, you were 18 when you decided you wanted to be a vet.
She's actually 4.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
She was 4.
So Adele is behind.
Adele.
Yeah.
Our daughter's name is Adele, and as I think you saw the pictures of her birthday, she wants to be a vet.
Well, she says she wants to be a vet. I think she does. I think that's one thing
mean, she sits and watches all the National Geographic videos.
She can watch the vet shows.
She can watch the blood, the guts, all of it.
Oh, I love that.
She loves
I
it.
hope she sticks with it. I definitely hope she sticks with it.
Yes,
I think she could.
So one of the biggest things for me as her mom was when Jordan sent me your Instagram page, and then my daughter said she's brown like me. And like anytime my daughter says that, she said it when Kamala Harris was inducted into her vice presidentship and things like that. And so to me, that's just huge. What kind of impact have you seen with you being Black and in medicine?
Man, it's so complex. Like, for my journey, I didn't really see a Black veterinarian until I was in my 20s, which you don't realize that until it happens to you. You don't realize that is a pivotal moment in your life until you're like, whoa, what just happened?
Yeah.
So now being someone on the other side of that, it blows my mind, especially like your daughter. And I have had other kids reach out and, say that they want to be a veterinarian. And it's just a huge deal because I remember being that little kid who loved animals. That's the only thing I cared about. I didn't care that I was female. I didn't care that I was Black. I didn't care that I had never seen a veterinarian before that looked like me. I just knew that I loved animals, and that's all I cared about. I was focused on saving them. So to hear that there are kids who look up to me and say, I know I want to save animals, but now I feel like I absolutely can because you look like me. Like that makes the hard days easy.
Yeah.
And it really just motivates me to continue to show up on different platforms in different areas because I'm not a huge Instagram person. I took years to convince myself to get on Instagram in the way I am now. But I don't regret it one day because I'm able to connect in a way that I wasn't able to before getting on that platform. So it's definitely a big deal.
Yeah, it's huge. And from a mom perspective, it's huge because exactly what you said, she can see women that are veterinarians, but most of them that I know of are white. And like that only goes so far. And the other thing that she pointed out, and I don't even know if it's intentional for you, but that your hair is natural. And she noticed that your curls are like hers. And she notices that all the time.
I love that. I mean, that's something even now I almost struggle with it in vet school because like you all have noticed, our profession is primarily white. So when I'm showing up in these spaces, I have these insecurities like, is my hair going to be seen as unprofessional? Is my afro too big or my braids too long? Like all these things that I use to express myself to feel beautiful and to feel like India, I'm constantly like, is this going to be too much for the space that I'm in? And I think I've just now recently got to that point of saying I am who I am and I'm going to show up in the way that I am comfortable and I'm confident. And that's all that matters. And I feel like people can see that and they appreciate that. And I've definitely tried to start showing my natural hair more on purpose, especially while I'm showing my career in vet med, because I don't want people to see only my braids and think Black beauty and in vet med is a certain way. Like we show up in so many different ways. I have friends and colleagues in vet meds that have locks, afros, everything, and all of those are accepted here. And until we can accept that and continue to show up in who we are, I mean, it's not going to change unless we, stick to that. So it's huge for me when people say, I love your afro, and I can relate to that because I used to be so insecure about that part of me, but now I'm like, I'm proud of it.
Yeah.
And that's something that I mean, kind of going on a tangent because I was just thinking about some things with you saying that. And I think it's very important to embrace the moment you shared, you said you saw the first vet when you were 20. And I'm even thinking about my journey and just our journey as a family. And like, it's just kind of cheesy, but I remember Dr. Doolittle. Like,
yeah.
if you look back on it, like that was like the only movie I'm not thinking back that showed a Black veterinarian in general. If you think through like, but I don't, of course, back then I discounted, but you saying that, I think back like, yeah, that's how impactful was that movie? Like, and they didn't focus on that. They just focused on him and the story.
And it was a Black family.
Yeah, too. Black family. So it's just like, so I do appreciate you. So I wanted to ask you, kind of like with me right now, what was your aha moment? Like, oh, like I can be a African-American female in this industry, like even though I can't do this.
So I would definitely have to say it happened to me in 2015. Like I said, I went to the University of Alabama at Birmingham. I was doing my own research on how to apply to vet school, how to get the experience. Mm-hmm. And I stumbled across these like summer programs that are specifically designed for underrepresented students who want to pursue veterinary medicine. And I found, I think it was at Purdue, Purdue's College of Veterinary Medicine. So I applied to that one with bare minimum experience. I was shocked that they actually accepted me. And then they were like, hey, we also have this other program at Michigan State that happens afterwards. You can go to there, just apply, hope you get in. And I got into that one too. So wow. I think I was turning 21 at that time. And I spent like, I think 8 weeks, it was 2 weeks at Purdue and 6 weeks at Michigan State. And for the first time ever in my life, I was surrounded by not only pre-vet students that look like me, veterinarians that look like me, vet students that look like me, but actual like deans of vet schools and like veterinary specialists that look like me. Wow. And you couldn't tell me anything. Like I met a cardiologist, a Black cardiologist at Purdue, Dr. Green. And I was like, oh, I think I want to do cardiology. Yeah. I met a Black pathologist. I was like, oh, I think I want to specialize in pathology. That was the first time in my life that it wasn't like, India, you could be a veterinarian, but you could actually be a veterinary specialist in an area, do a residency, think of more beyond vet school.
Right. Mm-hmm. So like you can really do this.
Exactly. And there's so many different avenues and ways that you can go about doing it. So when I went back to undergrad, I mean, that was probably the most motivated I had ever been in undergrad, to the point where prior to that, I was originally doing a psychology major with a biology and chemistry minor. I came back and I was like, nope, I'm going to finish a biology degree. I'm going to do a psychology and biology major. Wow. And a chemistry minor, and basically took 18 straight hours of biology just to get that dual degree. Like, I don't know what I was on, but
it's all right.
Back, like, I'm unstoppable. Right. I can do this. And
you walked out of there like you were Lizzo, is what you did.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I love that. That's awesome. And I love that you mentioned specifically both times when you talked about getting a veterinary degree and finding these programs, is that you took it upon yourself to find them. You weren't just like, well, nobody's telling me about them, so they don't exist. Yeah. Right. Or like you took it upon yourself at such a young age to be like, there's got to be something out there so that I can achieve my dreams. Yeah. And I love that.
I think that's beautiful. And so in this day and age that we live in, and we have trolls and we have insecurities, we do? And we have plenty of trolls and insecurities. How did you feel that your circle was different when you saw, because some people would step into the realm you did in the Michigan State and Purdue and feel intimidated, like, oh, these people are going to take my shine, or they're going to take my opportunity. How did that make you feel more empowered and not insecure? Because I know we as people, a lot of times, we don't lift each other up. I'm going to call it like it is, because we're nervous about that person taking my slice of the pie. So how did you, overcome those insecurities and feel welcome and empowering and not the opposite of it?
Did you know that I sell makeup? Not only do I sell makeup, but the makeup that I sell is 3D makeup, which allows you to highlight and contour your face in a super simple compact. As a mom, I could not survive without my simplified routine. Not only that, but it's exactly what you need. Exactly when you need it, all in one spot. go ahead and check out Alanna Mizell on Instagram or alannamizell.com to learn more.
I love that question because it definitely addresses something that we don't talk about a lot, which is like imposter syndrome, especially in these areas of underrepresented students in an area that doesn't look like them as a majority. So for me, I remember when I think I was at Purdue, and it was only 10 of us at that one. So we all became like very close. Wow. But hearing all of their experience and hearing about everything that they were doing at their colleges that had designated pre-vet programs, I was like, man, I don't know anything. Like they're saying all these things about like all these different species of animals. And I just knew like the bare minimum about biology, that I felt like, I just felt like I didn't have the same background and the same opportunities that they did because I didn't go to a college with an established animal science program. I was extremely insecure. I was like, I don't want to say anything wrong. I don't want to do anything wrong. So I kind of just hid in the background. But one thing I will remember is throughout the program, a lot of the vets said, don't be afraid to like show up. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to be wrong, because that's when you learn. And I think hearing that and being around that, and also being around a group of students who were so positive and uplifting and like were never like condescending, that made me more comfortable to say, I don't have the same experience as you all, but I want that experience. And they gave me so many resources and so many things to join and be a part of that played into a lot of moves that I made after I graduated from undergrad. So I think it was just being vulnerable and telling them and finding a comfort level of saying, we're all students of color. We're all looked at a certain way, have these things up against us. But if we stick together, then we can continue to help each other grow and learn and be better in this profession as a whole. So, recognizing that your competition does not have to be your competition. That's probably the greatest thing I've ever done for myself, like early in my career.
And I think that was so impactful for you, because so many times I feel like we will deflect in those vulnerable moments, and that kind of grows into imposter syndrome. But when you were being vulnerable with your quote unquote competition, non-competition, it opened their eyes that you were saying, okay, I don't know everything. I don't have the same resources, but I want to learn from you. And I don't care that, I might not have the same journey as you. So I think that's huge and very, very impactful.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we've heard how motivated you are, how much go-getter you are. You're obviously you're about to be a doctor.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yes.
Where did kind of that motivation come from? Was it a person? Was it a situation in your life? Like, where did it come from?
I honestly think it will have to be I'm going to say both of my parents, but also my grandma. So I grew up in a single mother household with a healthy relationship with my dad. So I appreciated that because I got to see both of my parents in different lights. And my mom is a nurse. I always saw her coming home from work in her scrubs with her little nursing shoes on. I loved hearing her talk on the phone and her medical terms and like seeing her pull like syringes or tape or like scissors out of her pockets. I was just so like in tune with the medical side of her and how she carried herself and how she was like this confident little short Black woman who like you couldn't tell her she wasn't the baddest nurse walking around.
I love it.
And then I saw my dad, who was like this entrepreneur, take risks, be bold, be confident, stand up tall, but have a side to you that's fun and relaxing and people like want to approach you. So I think both of them encouraged me. Like they knew that I wanted to be a veterinarian from very early age. They saw the grades that I made from a young age and were like, you're very smart, you're very capable, and we're going to give you the resources to thrive in whatever area you want to. So they put me in like the magnet schools and the preparatory schools and all these things and never allowed me to limit myself. But then my grandma was the one who I felt like always like not coddled me, but just spoke so much life over my life and reminded me of where I came from, and reminded me of what I was capable of, but also reminded me to always put people first and always be genuine, always give back, always reach out in the community, and just be yourself. So I think all three of them together motivated me to not only thrive and do my best and be a doctor and be a veterinarian, but once I get to that status, always reach back and help, which is like, that's a huge part in why I'm happy in the profession that I'm in. I think I would not be as happy as a future veterinarian if I wasn't constantly seeking ways to uplift young professionals and young students who want to be a veterinarian. That to me is what makes it so important. Like, I love the animal side of it, but that human connection that comes with it, it makes it like 10 times sweeter.
I love that. I could ask you a million questions. So we have time for what? 2 more?
Probably 3 more.
Okay. Have you faced any specific or targeted racism being in a predominantly white field?
I think I have faced microaggressions, but not a direct, you don't belong here. But they still, in a very like insidious way, they still get to you.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah.
The earliest one that I can think of was when I worked a job in between undergrad and applying to vet school. And a vet tech told me, like, I was telling her, what schools I was applying for. I applied for Auburn and Tuskegee, and they are like 2 different, like, polar opposites. Tuskegee is like the most diverse vet school in the United States. Is like makes amazing Black veterinarians. It's like known for that. It's an HBCU. And then Auburn is like the opposite, like known to be like very low in diversity. So I applied to both. And I remember I told the vet tech, I was waiting to hear back about my interview for Auburn. And she kind of like said, it was just a weird situation. She was like, hope to get into Auburn, but expect not to. And then she goes, but I know so many amazing vets from Tuskegee who are very successful. It was kind of like I'm going to throw this in, but I'm going to pivot and put you.
What you should have said was, you hope to be a vet, but you end up being a vet tech. Sorry.
I should just clap back. Clap back.
Come on.
How dare you? How dare
come
you?
on.
Vet tech.
Come hang out with the Mizels for a little bit.
The explanation she gave me was that a lot of students at Auburn have daddy's money who pay for their seats, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, in my mind, I was like, whoa. One, you don't know where my parents come from, what status they're at. 2, you don't know what my acclimates are. You don't know what I'm capable of. You don't even know what's on my application.
Exactly.
And you are putting all minority students in a box.
Yes.
You're Black, you have to go to this institution.
Right.
And that's not true. There's so many Black students who are choosing in-state vet schools that are not Tuskegee, or not. Another diverse school is Virginia, Maryland. Like, they don't have that option. So they have to go to other vet schools outside of those. And they can be just as successful at applying, getting accepting, and making it through those programs.
Right.
So yeah, that rubbed me the wrong way. I was just like, no, this is gonna change. This is gonna change because you got the wrong perception. And maybe that's the perception of vet man right now, but we're gonna have to change it. We're
about to send her a little postcard with you and your coat. Okay.
But that definitely sticks with me. And multiple times over the past 4 years in vet school where I thought back to that when I was like, exhausted and tired and like, I'm so over this. And I thought back then, I was like, nope, I'm not even gonna like let myself slack right now, because there's people who already look at me like I don't belong here. So I'm gonna prove them wrong and do my best to succeed, and then show them that I have succeeded, and show other students who have also succeeded at other vet schools.
I love that.
I love that too.
And one thing that I want to applaud you for, and I think is also taught more in Black culture than white culture, I'm just going to go out and say it, is that you didn't clap back.
Right.
You held on to it and you said, that's fine. I'm going to go do me over here. I'm going to still respect that you're an elder to me, for lack of better terms. but I'm going to go take care of what I need to take care of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like my privilege or what you think I don't have privilege wise is irrelevant in this moment.
Exactly.
Kind
And
of
I
thing.
don't have to like explain myself to you.
Mhm.
But I mean, at the same time, I think that's also a big point that you brought up is another struggle that I have in vet med is just trying to not feed into that angry Black woman narrative.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
any aspect. When I'm talking to a client, when I'm talking to a classmate, when I'm talking to a clinician, there are times where I've had to take a step and go sit in the bathroom and call my mom and say, I need to talk to somebody right now who gets it because this is what my brain is telling me.
Yeah.
And just having an outlet to say, I'm not trying to be seen as an angry Black woman, but these are the emotions that I'm feeling, and recognizing that I don't always get the same safe space with my emotions as my white classmates might.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's
You don't.
a hard realization to have,
Yeah.
but it's something that helps me protect my vulnerability and my transparency and my mental health.
Mm-hmm. I love two things that I love about that. One, that your mom has taught you to express your emotions and not just keep them inside and like snap out of it, because that is so important. I battle with mental health, and like being able to articulate your emotions is so critical. The other thing that I love about that is, although it's not fair, you recognize it and you're teaching yourself how to still get your point across without fulfilling a stereotype that doesn't belong to you, but somewhere along the lines is stereotyped towards Black women. So I love both those things.
Yeah. I agree with it. So I had to ask this question because we are the Mizell show and we throw things that way. So I've told my daughter that she's going to be single until she's like 35 or longer if needed. And so I had to ask you this question. How have you coped with the loneliness of a vet school in terms of saying no to social events, saying no to friendships, sometimes relationships, because it's a sacrifice. And in this social media world we live in, where you have to be involved, that you have the whole FOMO and I can just go out this one time. How have you battled through that? And how have you gone through, maybe you haven't, or maybe you have, I don't know your life, but how have you dealt with that?
I don't know your life. That's hysterical.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. I think I have found a balance.
Good. Okay.
I realize what's important, and family and friends are definitely important to me. And I chose Auburn because it was close enough to family and friends to where I could visit whenever I had time. But there have been multiple occasions where I'm in my bed doing paperwork for hours. I'm like seeing all my friends, like I'm in a sorority, and seeing them all together, like on Instagram, and I'm just locked in with paperwork and that's. I'm like, why the heck did I do this?
Yes.
The stupidest decision. I could be out here living my best life on some man's arms, being loved on in Costa Rica, and I am in Costa Rica with my 2 weenie dogs typing up paperwork
in Auburn, Alabama.
It definitely gets hard, but I think I've done 2 things. I've reminded myself of this is something that I've been working my whole life for, and I'm almost to the end. And then I think about the fact that I'm almost to the end, that I also have a lot of catching up to do. So your girl gonna be out here.
Right.
Let's go.
Wilding out.
Travel, hang out, see everybody as much as I can. I'm going to use my off days. I'm going to do that's why I'm specifically choosing Florida, because it has an international airport where I can fly to multiple locations and not feel bad about it. So yeah, I'm definitely intending to play catch up.
No, I think
like relationships goes, I'm not really. I have too much catching up to do in other areas to focus on settling down right now. But as far as like family and traveling and weddings and fun, like social events, I can't wait to have the shackles off and just be everywhere.
Yeah.
And that's something that we talk about a lot too with our mentorship to our younger friends, colleagues, what you want to call them, is that you don't really truly start living your life until you're doing something that you love, and then you can use that love to go do other things that you enjoy.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's something that you have more time and more enjoyment. Like we took a trip to Mexico last year. It was the fruits of our labor of us sacrificing and, you know, putting money away and selling our house. It's like, now we can enjoy this trip because it means more. Exactly. Yeah. So when you take your trips or when you go to your friend's wedding and you're not sleeping 5 to a room, you got your own suite because you made it. That's what you're going to be like.
That's what they're doing in Costa Rica. So don't let them fool you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Bunking up all in one bed.
Exactly.
Oh, no.
They'll be like, excuse me, I'm a doctor.
I got my own suite over here. I'm going to enjoy this wedding.
Right. Not on that college student energy anymore. I'm like,
right.
Exactly.
I love it. Well, we are so grateful for you. And I don't think you truly understand how much you're doing for Black in medicine, Black women in medicine, our house in general. Adele has asked to see you multiple times. So it means a lot to her. It means a lot to me as her mom, because I'm not Black and I'm certainly not a vet. So I can't provide either of those things. And you are definitely filling that hole that she's had. And we're really grateful for that.
We are definitely grateful for you taking the time and just continue doing what you're doing. I think the best thing that you're doing is that you're doing it subliminally. You're not forcing, you're not doing too much. You're just being yourself. You're being natural. You're keeping people, abreast of what's going on, but you're not overly doing it. So it's coming out authentic and it's very passionate. And I think that's something that we appreciate it. We're going to continue following your journey. And we thank you for taking the time out of your paperwork and your studying to chat with the Mizell Show.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it was definitely a lot of fun. And I appreciate those words, y'all, because it definitely gets me through. Like, I started my Instagram almost a year ago and I didn't think that it would get to this point, but I'm so grateful that it did. And I'm just excited to see, how many other little Black and brown girls that I can connect with and uplift because of something like Instagram. So yeah, thank you for having me. Definitely.
Wow. That was good.
I'm obsessed, weirdly obsessed with her, but that's fine. That's fine.
I mean, I think she hit on so many awesome things that, with me, my biggest thing was my whole Dr. Dolittle reference. Like, I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that opportunity for us to be able to do that. It was incredible.
Right. I loved her. Well, definitely share this podcast to those that, especially little girls that that will be influenced by it. We are so grateful for Indya and just being willing to come on and share her story and be super authentic. Have a great day.
Thanks, guys.
So if you guys are enjoying this, definitely leave us a review. Give us the feedback. If there's something you guys want us to talk about, reach out to us on our website at themizellshow.com. There is a contact section. You can put it in there. We would love to hear about it. Or you can always go over to Instagram at The Mizell Show. Also, as always, don't forget to screenshot this episode and just add it to your stories and tag us on Instagram, on Facebook at The Mizell Show. Thanks, guys. Are you loving The Mizell Show? Well, we love you all. And did you know that you can have me and Steven talk to your team or a group of 25 of your friends? All it takes is 25 people showing up on either a Zoom call, a Facebook Live, or really anywhere. Hopefully in person sooner rather than later. But how do you get us? So all you have to do is email themizellshow@gmail.com, or you can direct message us on Instagram at The Mizell Show.